Space is one of the basic elements of visual art. It refers to the area above, around, and within an object. There are 6 ways you can create the illusion of space on a 2-dimensional surface. The first way is by overlapping objects. By placing one object over the other, it stops the viewer from fully seeing that object, which creates the illusion that it is behind something. Here we see one object. Now, when we place 2 more objects behind them, we create the illusion of space. The second way is through size relationship. Like in real life, objects closer to the viewer appear larger, and objects further away from the viewer appear to become smaller. Like this, when we place a larger object, it looks like it is closer or in front of the other objects. The third way is placement of objects. Objects that are placed higher on the surface of the artwork appears to be further back, and objects placed on the bottom of the artwork surface appear to be closer to the viewer. If we place one object at the bottom and then another closer to the top, the one at the top will appear to be further away from us. The fourth is through color or value. Warm colors, or colors with a dark or more intense value, tend to appear in the front of the image, while cool and lighter values recede towards the back. Using value in an object also gives the appearance of a 3-dimensional object rather than a 2-dimensional object. In this image, the warm colors appear to be closer to the viewer, while the cool colored mountains appear to be towards the back. In a grayscale image, the darker or intense the value, the closer it appears, while the lighter colors appear to be fading in the back. The fifth way is through details. Details in the front of the artwork, which are closer to the viewer, appear more in focus. Thus, things like texture are more visible. Here we can see the tree with a lot more detail than the mountains fading in the background. The last way is through a linear perspective. These 3 techniques are regularly used to create the illusion of depth in artwork by pulling the eye to one or more directions. In this one-point perspective image, the eye is being pulled back by this path, which seems to be disappearing at the windmill, which gives our eye movement and appears to disappear, which also creates the illusion of space. Let's look at a video by the virtual instructor, which explains 1, 2, and 3-point perspective in a little bit more detail.
There are 3 different forms of linear perspective. We'll discuss 2 of the 3 here. The 3 types of linear perspective are 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and 3-point perspective. Let's begin by taking a look at 1-point perspective. One-point perspective begins by establishing a horizon line. The horizon line is the line that divides the sky from the ground. It can also represent the viewer's eye line. The next step is to place a vanishing point on the horizon line. The vanishing point is the point placed on the horizon line where objects begin to disappear because of distance. Next, establish the basic shape of the object that you are drawing. In this case, we're drawing a cube in perspective, therefore the shape is a square. Next, 4 lines are drawn from each of the 4 corners of the square to the vanishing point. A smaller square is drawn in such a manner so that each corner of the square touches each of the 4 lines of perspective. Now, lines can be erased to reveal the 3-dimensional cube. Value can be added to the cube to further the illusion. A second type of linear perspective is two-point perspective. Two-point perspective also begins by establishing a horizon line. In this case, two vanishing points are placed on the horizon line. Next, a corner is drawn in between the two vanishing points. This corner represents the corner of the cube. Two lines are drawn from each end of the corner to one of the vanishing points. This process is repeated on the opposite side. Next, the end of the cube is established by drawing two vertical lines where the cube would end. Next, a line is drawn from one of the vanishing points to the top end of the cube. This process is repeated to the opposite vanishing point as well. Now the lines can be erased and value added to create the illusion of a three-dimensional cube.
Now you know a little bit more about how to create the illusion of space on a two-dimensional surface. Let's start creating some wonderful artwork.